You've heard of Pearl Harbor, but have you ever heard of the night America's sky exploded and no one knew why? Before we begin, comment below. Do you think a massive explosion can happen on American soil and leave zero explanation for over 50 years? Tonight, we uncover one of America's strangest and most terrifying forgotten real stories. Uncovering America's strangest and forgotten real stories. It was January 22, 1930, a freezing, silent night in the remote forests of Alaska. Most families in the tiny village of Shishmaref had gone to sleep early. The temperature outside was nearly negative 40 degrees Fahrenheit. The only sounds were the wind, the cracking of distant ice, and the waves beneath the frozen shore. No one knew that within minutes, the darkest, coldest night of the year would become the brightest night America had ever seen. Just after 1:40 a.m., a strange humming began in the sky, a sound no hunter, elder, or fisherman had ever heard before. A low vibration, deep, metallic, growing louder. Dogs began barking. The villagers woke up, confused, staring at the sky. Then someone shouted, "Look at the light!" A massive, blinding, white sphere tore across the horizon. It wasn't a shooting star, it wasn't an airplane, and it wasn't lightning. As one witness described, it was like the sun fell out of the sky. The bright sphere grew larger and larger until suddenly the entire sky exploded. A shockwave slammed into the village so violently that houses shook like earthquakes. Windows shattered, children screamed, people were thrown to the ground. Hunters saw entire trees bending backward. Snow blasted upward like white smoke. The frozen sea rippled like liquid. And then, boom! The second explosion hit, stronger than the first. So powerful that people 500 miles away thought a volcano had erupted. Residents swore the air itself caught fire. But here's where things get strange. The U.S. government said nothing. No explanation, no warning, no investigation for years. People begged for answers. Was it an enemy attack? A meteor? A new type of weapon? Something else entirely? But there was one terrifying similarity. The 1930 Alaska explosion matched the same signs as the 1908 Tunguska blast in Siberia, the largest non-nuclear explosion in human history. A coincidence or something more? 15 years later, 1945, while the world was recovering from World War II, scientists began studying old reports from Alaska. They found A. Eyewitness descriptions of a bright sphere identical to Tunguska. B. Trees knocked flat in a circular pattern. C. Wildlife found dead with no visible injuries. D. Ground burned in strange geometric shapes. E. A second shockwave recorded on early seismic instruments. And then, something chilling. Survivors reported seeing metal debris fall from the sky, but it vanished by morning. Who took it? No one knows. Even stranger, military personnel arrived days after the explosion, despite there being no formal report. Locals weren't allowed near the impact zone. And for decades, the official explanation was probably a meteor. But scientists disagreed because A. No meteor fragments were ever found. B. The blast wave behaved like an airburst weapon. C. A second explosion followed. Meteors don't usually explode twice. And D. Radiation levels years later were unusually high. Was it a meteor? A weapon? A secret test? Or something else entirely? By 1970, new evidence emerged. Declassified documents revealed that U.S. intelligence agents believed the explosion might have been caused by an object breaking up in the atmosphere, moving at unnatural speed and changing direction mid-flight. Meteorites don't change direction. Humans didn't have that technology in 1930. So what did? An unknown scientist published a theory. The Alaska explosion was not a natural event. It was a controlled descent of something entering Earth's atmosphere. But before the research gained attention, it disappeared, removed from archives, unavailable to the public, gone, just like the debris. Scientists now admit that the Alaska explosion of 1930 remains unexplained, unproven, and largely forgotten by American history. No crater was found, no impact site, no fragments, but something did happen, because thousands witnessed it. Shockwaves were recorded. Forest patterns prove an airburst. Light was seen from hundreds of miles away. Even today, modern researchers believe the event was the closest the United States ever came to a Tunguska-level disaster. If it had exploded over a city, millions could have died. But instead, it happened over one of the most remote corners of America and faded into history. This was just one forgotten American mystery, one night when the sky over the United States exploded, and no one ever explained why. If you love forgotten American history, you'll love what's coming next week. Want to hear about the next hidden American tragedy? Subscribe. The next story is even stranger.